Hello and welcome back to Rose Field for the second semifinal of the year between the Pacific Panthers and Eastern Extreme.
Today my team will have our same playoff lineup that we had against the Altitude, being me and Soren. Sadly, Aiden is out for the season with an elbow injury, but he will still be here today cheering us on.
And as for the Eastern Extreme, they have all three guys today, Reed Umar, Zach Koss, and Brody Livingston, but they are coming off a series where they got swept by the #1 overall seed Desert Diamonds, who just recently advanced to the World Series. So facing their first adversity of the year, it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back today. And with that, let's go down to the field for some player interviews. I'm here with Carson Rose of the Pacific Panthers. You did request this interview earlier this year when you did play the Eastern Extreme. It was 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. You guys were very competitive in that series. Just a couple of unlucky breaks, I'd say. And there was a lot of smack talk, a lot of beef between these two teams. What's your approach today? Do you have any comments you want to make? Yeah,
I feel comfortable heading into the series. Obviously, our team, we only lost 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. I lost on a perfect game. I didn't even know that was possible. Fielder's choice, and that was unlucky. The other two games were toss-ups. We could have won either of those. And I just want to show we're going to win this for sure. Extreme, they have been struggling recently. I think they're like 2-4 in their last two series. So we'll make that 2-6 and head on to the World Series against the Diamonds. Not looking too far ahead, but still staying positive.
All right, the Panthers are very confident today. The Diamonds already clinched their spot in the World Series. Let's see who meets them. Let's go.
And here we are, the second game of the Final Four to see who squares off against the Desert Diamonds in next weekend's Best of 5 Championship Series. Panthers are down a key player in Aiden Sabian. And we'll talk about younger brother Declan Sabian later. Carson Rose, 2-2. Looks at one right down the plate at 79 miles an hour from Livingston. That's why he's an MVP candidate. And here comes two people that get a little chippy with each other from time to time. Down he goes, nicks the inside. Great job by Livingston. He is focused. The Panthers have their work cut out for him. On a hot, humid day, every pitch matters. Koss looking to go deep. 81. 1-2. Down goes Livingston on a slider from Rose. Is he a one-hit wonder? Or is he a band waiting to win a Grammy? That's Reed Umar right now. 1-2. Down goes Umar. Rose changes it up. We have a pitcher's duel already. Just outside. And the Panthers have their first base runner of the day. Nasty pitch. Perfect velocity at 79 miles an hour. 1-2. Etheridge on first. Oh, and Rose missed the golden opportunity on that one. Wow. Right down Main Street. That would have made it to North Phoenix if we would have gotten a hold of that. 0-2. Oh, my! Who is set then, Mark? We don't know, because Carson Rose just sent one to the moon. And it came back down. We haven't seen that all year. That is a candidate for nastiest pitch of the year right there. Rose walks Livingston to get to Umar. People are going to be talking about that pitch for years. 2-2, 2 outs, 0-0 game. Down goes Umar, down go the Extreme. We go to the top of the last, all tied at 0. And that's ball 4, 4 straight to Etheridge, and the Panthers have their first runner of the inning. Sabian cheering his team on. Koss ready and left. Down goes Rose on a pitch outside the zone, and it'll be up to Etheridge to keep the inning going. 92.
That's a warning.
Interesting move from Livingston. An 80-mile-an-hour pitch from Livingston. Oh, and Rose on a perfectly placed pitch. That's only 2 outs, though, Soren Etheridge. 1-2. A strike away from extras. And that's it for Umar. We go to extras. We thought it was going to happen. Viewers were expecting it. And here we are. We start with the runner on second. Oh, frustration from Rose. Still no hits in this ball game by either team. Late on the swing, down go the Panthers. Every pitch matters here. And the right to play the Desert Diamonds in the championship next weekend. Oh, and he blows it by Koss. 78. That seemed quick, but the gun says otherwise. Walks Livingston, because that's a run that doesn't matter. We're 1 strike away from going to the 5th. And here we are. One-two to Carson Rose. Swings it up high, steps in the bucket. Here comes Etheridge. Down he goes on a nasty sinker from Livingston. Can Rose match him again? We're about to find out here in the bottom of the 5th. And that's ball 4. We just talked about it. It's now at hand. What a moment. Big league wiffle ball at its best. Down goes Livingston. He's not happy with himself. The winning run in the form of Brody Livingston at third. Oh, and Umar had a good swing at that one. We now go to the 6th. Rose in the hole. Sabian rooting him on. Great location inside out from Livingston. That's Livingston lived on the corners. Tough to hit when that's the case. Can Rose match him again as we go to the bottom of the 6th? Same moment that we saw in the last inning here. Down he goes on strikes. They walk Livingston. Oh. Yes, he does. Commissioner Rose has ruled. Umar fooled on the riser. We go to the 7th in this epic game 1 of a 3-game set between the Panthers and the Extreme. Who's going to be responsible for the breakthrough moment? Oh, back up the middle! On second! No, the Panthers take the lead! Ball goes into the outfield! That's an unplayable ball. It was one of those moments. We just talked about it. Umar's in it and right. Had an opportunity there, but gets fooled by the MVP candidate. And here comes Rose. Koss in left, playing deep. And down go the Panthers, but not without getting a critical run in the top of the 7th. Critical moment in the game. Hits the zone, down goes Koss. We thought it was a foul tip, but it's not. And let's see what happens here. They're walking Livingston. What a moment. Down goes Umar, down go the extreme, and the Panthers win game 1 on the verge of an upset. But as we saw yesterday with the Diamonds, a game 1 victory was not a series 1. We'll see you soon for game 2. After a dramatic game 1, an upset, we head to game 2 as the Panthers make an interesting move, starting Soren Etheridge as they are the home team in this game. Gets ahead in the count 0-2. Look at Etheridge start strong.
Brody, get on first.
Panthers, they'll be talking about this strategy and this approach for years to come. Not letting Livingston beat them. But he's a threat anytime he's at the plate. Rose in left center. Look at that pitch from Etheridge. People were questioning the strategy. Etheridge is saying, take that. Blows it by Rose at 80 miles an hour. Jams him 2. Umar patrolling right. 1-2. Down he goes on a sinker. He's been chasing it all day. Nice pitch from Etheridge, who's looked sharp so far. He is pumped up as they walk Livingston again. Down he goes on a sinker. Can the Panthers have another dramatic moment at the plate as they look to put this series away?
Come on. Nice.
Misses upstairs.
You ready to hit?
Look at that inside-out pitch. Not much you could do with that. Great pitch by Livingston. Good location from the right-hander. He's in a zone. Walk Livingston. And that's it on a 75-mile-an-hour pitch. We go to the bottom of the last with only one team able to win. That was a strike. Down Etheridge goes. And it's up to Carson Rose. And that's it for the Panthers. Nothing you can do with that pitch. Down he goes. Chases the riser. And it's up to Zach Koss. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Etheridge gets out of a jam. And the Panthers look to win this game and win this series right here, right now. And he looks at one right down the middle. Here we go. And that's it. Comes back from a 3-1 count. We go to the top of the fifth where a runner will start on third base. Down goes Umar, second out of the inning. Livingston looking for anyone to pick him up as he gets walked again. Someone was jacked up on that pitch. Look at that sinker at 78. Inverts the numbers. Down go the extreme. And they are facing elimination with any run from the Panthers. Koss playing way in, looking to get him out at the plate on a bang-bang play. Oh, that's the game! That's the series! The walk-off hit from Etheridge! An upset has happened! The number 5 seed takes down the league leading throughout most of the season, Eastern Extreme. Wow, bottom of the fifth. Walk-off from Etheridge. What a pitching performance from both Carson Rose and Soren Etheridge. What a season for the Eastern Extreme. And we have a surprise in the championship next weekend when we'll see the Pacific Panthers face off against the Desert Diamonds. We'll remember the sportsmanship from the Extreme, the pitching prowess of Livingston, the walk-off from Umar, and the classiness of Zach Koss. Congratulations to both teams on an incredible series.
All right, I'm here with the Pacific Panthers. You guys just moved on to your second ever World Series. I'm going to start with Soren, who had the walk-off to deliver and advance. What were you thinking on that pitch? What did he throw? What was going through your mind?
I just was thinking I was late the whole time. So I just kind of closed my eyes and swung early, and I hit the ball.
I mean, it worked. Aiden, you didn't play today, but you were great on the sidelines, rooting them on every single pitch. Talk about your performance and what are you looking forward to? You should be back for the World Series, I heard.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope to return for the World Series, but I got to take it day by day. And I just channeled really my Brian Sabian, inner Brian Sabian, inner Brian Bucci as the manager today.
And then Carson Rose, you came up clutch today. You're obviously pitched great like Soren. Both of you had clutch hits. What are you looking forward to next series?
Obviously, both of us played really well today, but we're just focusing on next series. Happy with the win here, but we still got more to go. 3 more wins, and we're the champs.
Job's not finished.
It's not finished.
All right, Panthers going to be looking for their first ever World Series. Same with the Diamonds. We're going to have a new champion, and we'll see you next week. All right, hello and welcome back to another recap here. You guys just watched Panthers Extreme. I'm joined by the Extremes, arguably their best player, one of the best players in the league, Brody Livingston, and I'm Commissioner Logan Rose. We're going to recap that series and then follow it up with Wolves Diamonds from last week, and then we'll see where that takes us. So I just want to start immediate reactions to the series. Obviously, we knew it was going to be close. From my perspective, I thought it was pretty much going to go the way it did, which was an epic pitcher's duel, and it came down to just timely hitting like it did in the regular season. Brody, watching the video and that first game, it was one of the great pitcher's duels in our league's history. The pitches were filthy. Carson had a drop that you'll see that was just one of the best pitches I've ever seen. And, that game pretty much ended when that ball went between your legs. Like, talk me through that moment. Were you just focused on trying to get the runner at home, or do you remember?
Yeah, I remember that one. That one was brutal. Yeah, I was more focused on getting the runner out. Looking back at it, I know, because I have the arm to get the ball there before the runner gets there. If I would have just taken the time and then just thrown it, I'm pretty accurate. I mean, if I take the time, maybe I have to hit the strike zone, but I'm confident enough to where I think I can. But yeah, I was too focused on, like, it was just such a in the moment kind of play. First off, terrible pitch. Pitch didn't move at all. I remember throwing it and realizing halfway through the holes were facing the wrong side. It was meant to be a slider, and it just kind of floated.
It's not good.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I kind of do my little fall off to the side thing, like when I throw my slider, and it just kind of floats in, and he hits it right back up the middle. But yeah, just kind of just moving a little too fast and botched the play. That's all it really was to it.
And yeah, I mean, you guys have to keep in mind, this is
almost an hour-long game, which for our league's really long, and there was 2 foul balls down the line, or sorry, 1 foul ball by you down the line in this game, and then in the other game, Soren had one. But literally, there was no action with hitting. There were a couple foul balls back, but so when the ball gets put in play, I mean, you're obviously not expecting it. So
Right.
7 innings, having to stay on your toes for that long, be ready for everything. It's tough. But yeah. You got something else?
I mean, so yeah, like you said, an hour-long game. It's a long game. It's not necessarily for us, at least, because if you look in the videos, I mean, you don't see them, but when you're editing them, I'm sure you see that we're always making defensive switches. Like me and Reed will always switch depending on like the handliness of the batter. Just because I have that little more baseball edge to where I know where to go. And normally I'm a pretty good defensive player, but this season kind of struggled. There was that one in the first years I remember against Cougars where I botched it, and then this one, 2 big ones.
Yeah. So Panthers won game 1. It's a close one. They moved to game 2. They put Soren on the mound, which has worked for them throughout the second half of the season. And really, it's not a bad move. You guys weren't necessarily getting to Carson, but it wasn't looking. It's always good to go to a second pitcher. So Soren goes on the mound. He pretty much dominates. Soren throws. It's hard to do, but Soren probably throws the most strikes in the league. As I was editing the video, he literally maybe threw like 3 balls the whole time. That I skip over some pitches, but like that's all I saw. So it was pretty impressive from him. Obviously, they had the whole intentional walk situation, strategy. What were your overall thoughts on that?
On just the intentional walks in general?
Yeah, just as a whole.
Okay, so I was ready to hit. If you look in the videos, I was on time with Carson. Obviously, it moves a lot, so I'm going to miss still. But definitely, if you look at my regular season series compared to this one, I was on time. Like I was ready to hit. They knew that. I knew that. Zach and Reed knew that. I mean, everyone there, you could tell I was ready to hit. But yeah, getting intentionally walked over and over again it's smart, but at the same time, it kind of sucks because it's like there's no hitter on this planet. Like, I'm not going to have Barry Bonds walk up that many times and walk him the amount of times I got walked.
Right.
But I mean, it's strategy, and I get that. But again, I think you can't say that you're not afraid of a hitter if you walk him as many times as I got walked.
Right. So, I mean, obviously, I think they would say they're afraid, even though Soren would say that he wasn't. They were being smart, but then if you guys didn't see, Zach had like a finger injury, which really was not good for him. He started having to swing like almost one-handed towards the end. So that definitely didn't help you guys as they like forced Zach and Reed to kind of beat them. But yeah, they go to the end, and in the bottom of the 5th, first batter, Soren steps up, rips one in the center field. They honestly go crazy.
Yeah.
It was a cool sight to see if you're a Panthers fan. For the season as a whole, what are your thoughts? And I mean, it was very successful, but then second half, you guys were 2-4, kind of stumbled out of the stretch. If you include the playoffs, 2-6. So, yeah.
Well, okay, so going into that first series, I'll just take it kind of by series, I guess. That first series, we knew we were going to win. We knew we were going to sweep. It was the only thing we knew. We were all season, actually. Maybe the altitude one, if we had all 3 of our guys, I think that was pretty much guaranteed. But we knew we were going to sweep the Cougars. Even going down 2-1, I just remember walking in, Zach being like, it's fine, we're going to get those back. So we fought that one out. That was the closest game I remember we had got to losing all year until we had lost our first game to you guys, which honestly, I kind of figured there was going to be one game that we were kind of just going to, I wouldn't necessarily say choke, but kind of just give away. And that's fine. Obviously looking back at it, that would have been the 1 seed, and that's a lot more important. But I don't know. I think it was a good season. Definitely think the numbers don't show how truly good some of the hitters are in the league, like actually are. Like for you, like I think you hit like 116 or something like that. And like you don't hit 116. Like that's
right.
Like if you like everyone in the league, like if you look at the guys who hit 200, like that's how you know like they're on time with it. And I say it every time, but like if you're hitting 200 in that league, like you're a good hitter. You're hitting 115, like you're a good hitter. It's just a tough league to hit in.
I mean, even Carson, like he's one of the best hitters in the league, and I mean, in the playoffs it showed. He started off pretty slow, but like he was on almost all those pitches. Like you, I mean, you didn't intentionally block him, but he's on those.
Right.
So yeah,
even I would say Soren was too, and I remember that last game, like you said, Soren drilled that one up the middle. But I remember saying to the boys like that top of the inning, I was like, we need to score or we're gonna lose. Like I know that we're gonna lose because I had been watching their swings and having a lot of the baseball experience that I do. I know what hitters' swings are, and when they're on time with it, they're on time with it. And just one pitch changed the whole game. That's what happened. Yeah.
So Panthers move on to the World Series. On the other side, last week, Wolves and Diamonds came out. One of the more interesting series of the year, and probably shocking, I would say. I know I was like just shocked for a while. I'll kind of go through it to start, and then we could get your thoughts as well. So we go up game one. Game one's just a dogfight, but we really had the edge the whole time. I think we had the bases loaded one time, didn't get out of it, or they got out of it. We struggled, and then obviously I had the triple. But I felt like I was on Seth the whole time. And then I remember, so we win that game. I pitched pretty well. And we go into game 2. And I told everyone, as I did when we beat the Cougars in game 1, I have everyone huddle up. And I'm like, we have to win game 1 because we have to win game 2. If it goes to a game 3, I mean, like, they've got the momentum. It's a completely different series. We don't see many series in this league go to game 3. So we come out game 2. I struggle on the mound early, but get out of it. And we head to, the 3rd. And this little guy, Declan, he's about 10 years old at this point. So
he's 10.
I'm going to give it to him because they had a pretty good inning. They get the bases loaded, right? We're in the top of the 3rd, and they've struggled to get guys through all season. He was a little cheap out there. I think I showed the whole at bat, 30 seconds in between each pitch, stepping out. So I'll definitely give it a battle to him. He got in my head, and I was up 0-2, and I didn't even realize that till I was editing. And we go to a 3-2, and that knuckleball literally missed by half an inch. It was crazy. And I just dropped. But like in this league, when you give up a run, at least like it's so defeating in these late game scenarios because I mean it's hard to come back. And next play, next batter, Seth comes up. He's been sitting on that knuckleball all day and drills it, puts the game away. And he threw a perfect game in that game. And then game 3, we go out there. Honestly, I didn't even think it was bad. I get my screwball to finally work towards the end of the game, but it was too late because in the bottom of the first, Matthew Save out of nowhere, once again sitting on the knuckleball and takes it out. And I truly believe the key to this series was, I don't know if people could tell, but I had to throw my knuckleball so much because my screwball just wasn't working, specifically in the second game. which obviously they could just sit on it. And against the Cougars, that was not like the plan. That was what we did against the Cougars is what I wanted to go after. So you were there. After game one, did you think we were going to put this thing away and head to the World Series?
There was a part of me that knew the Diamonds had it. I mean, they got Seth. Matthew's good second player to have on your team. Again, I know the numbers don't show, but he's a fighter. He's surprisingly harder to get out than I think a lot of people give him credit for. He puts up good swings every time he's swinging. So I knew they had a chance, but honestly, Bryson had been suspiciously quiet in game one, and I was waiting for him to kind of explode, and then you guys advance. Because, I mean, that game one, like you said, it's so pivotal. Like, I mean, if you win game one, you're pretty much going to win it.
Right.
But, yeah, it was just one of those days where stuff happens. You know, Bryson wasn't on. You arguably, in my opinion, were the player of that series, and you guys lost. Like,
right.
I mean, your pitching was good. Like you were dominant in your postseason run for sure, especially on the pitching side. Which props to you, because I know I feel like you probably weren't extremely like happy with your pitching season. I feel like I feel like you think you could have done better, and I think that postseason definitely showed what you are capable of. But yeah, I think with Bryson not having a loud bat, I think that's what cost it, honestly.
Right. That's why. Well, first postseason, when I get to the postseason, even in tournaments, I'm just like turn it up for whatever reason. I don't really care about how bad the arm's feeling, that kind of thing. Yeah. So we win game one, and I'm thinking like we're in the best spot possible because Bryson really struggled. He had like one ball put in play. But I'm like, Bryson, with the way he hit against the Cougars, he's got it. He's going to pop off in this next game. And I can't tell you what happened. Like, I didn't think Seth was very dominant, but he threw 2 straight perfect games. It didn't feel like he was dominant, but he just went out there and just like beat us. I don't know how to explain it. I think he just flat out beat us.
I was gonna say I don't really remember Seth having the greatest stuff that day. I mean, he was throwing unscuffed wiffle balls because the humidity was just killing his pitches. So he was like, I need unscuffed balls. And again, like, I mean, it works. Like Soren, you look at Soren, you look at me, you look at Seth. I mean, like some days we'll have good movement, but our game really is just throwing strikes, and that's just can just beat you.
Yeah. So the Diamonds moved on to the World Series. We've got Panthers, Diamonds, Carson, Seth, both those guys looking for their first World Series. Soren, Matthew, it's going to be a fun one. These teams, when they met in the regular season, obviously it was like the series of the year, the game of the year for sure. So all I can say is this World Series was incredible, and 2 very competitive teams, very close teams. So, yeah. With that, let's wrap up the video, and we'll see you guys next week for World Series Game 1.